we've got with us Vinod Aggarwal, MD and CEO of VECV, joining in to talk to us about how business is looking and whether or not things are looking up internationally and locally. Mr. Aggarwal, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us. And let's start with business, right? Of late, numbers have been sort of subdued, if I may say. At this time last year, of course, there was a lot of buying that was coming in because of those BS5 norms, so pre-buying before that. So probably not fair to make a comparison Y-o-Y, but month on month as well, how are things shaping up? Is business looking good? Are you happy with your performance?
Absolutely. As you have rightly mentioned, that year on year, the reason clearly was pre-buying last year in quarter four. Last year, quarter four was very strong because of that. So when you compare year on year with respect to last year, quarter four, the figures look slightly less. So there has been some little bit of drop with respect to last year, quarter four, for the industry as a whole. However, overall numbers are quite good, I would say, for the month of March and quarter four. So overall, we are quite satisfied with the performance of industry as well as VCV. And overall, in spite of all the challenges which were there in the market, 3.5 ton and above market has grown by 4%. Specifically, the buses have grown very well. The industry has grown by almost 30%. And overall, heavy-duty trucks also have grown for the year. However, there has been some drop in the light and medium-duty trucks as well as in the small commercial vehicles in the industry. As far as we are concerned, we have grown much better than the industry. If the domestic industry, 3.5 ton and above, has grown by 4% or 5%, we have grown by 9.6%. So we have improved our market shares in all the segments of the industry. So therefore, we are quite satisfied and we are quite happy with the performance.
Very fair point. You've grown ahead of the industry, but I think the problem is that the industry is not growing in line with what the economy currently is moving at. When do you expect those numbers to return back to maybe pre-COVID levels? Because I know last year was good, but since then things, and it was an aberration like we said, but in terms of real on-ground demand, when will the industry catch up? You clearly are leading from the front, so it'd be good to get some perspective from you on that front.
I think if you break up the industry into various segments, as far as buses are concerned, buses already have reached the new peak. They are much above the earlier peak of 18-19. So buses, last year, the total industry has been around 82,000, which is above the earlier peak of around 65,000. So it is much above the earlier peak. As far as heavy-duty trucks are concerned, earlier peak was 295,000 in 18-19. Last year, the industry has been around 258,000. However, there we also have to note that there is a lot of migration towards higher tonnage trucks. So therefore, because of migration to higher tonnage trucks, if you look at overall capacity of trucks, even with the lower number, the capacity will be, I would say, maybe even larger than the earlier peak numbers. So therefore, I think the numbers are good. We are very near to the earlier peak as far as HD heavy-duty trucks are concerned. Buses already at new peak. Light and medium-duty trucks, last year itself, it was at a new peak. And this year, it is slightly dropped 4-5%. There is no concern per se as far as the fundamentals are concerned. Economy is growing, replacements are going to be strong, infrastructure investments are going to happen. Therefore, I think these are the short-term hiccups, maybe due to the uncertainties due to election, and a lot of focus is there on elections. The infrastructure projects, they will kick off much faster or with a much more vigor after the new government is in place. So therefore, I would feel the fundamentals are strong. The industry has got good prospects as far as current year and future is concerned.
Good morning, Mr. Aggarwal. Tamanna here. I was just curious to know that where do you see the most growth coming from in terms of customer base? Because I know you've had a tie-up with Amazon, other big private players as well. On the other side, you have a policy move, for example, the PM e-bus Seva scheme to electrify public transport. And I just wanted to understand strategically where you are focusing and where you see the most traction coming from.
As far as the applications or where these trucks are being used, uh, I think all these segments are doing very well. If you look at e-commerce, e-commerce is doing extremely well. If you look at auto components, or if you look at the auto products like passenger cars or two-wheelers, I think overall industry is doing well, and there is more demand of trucks for movement of finished products like two-wheelers or trucks. Infrastructure projects are all right, and there is good traction in mining. Therefore, mining trucks, construction trucks, they are doing well. There is good demand for steel and cement, so there is a good movement of all these core items, and as a result of that, you see good traction in the heavy duty trucks, in the especially in the
Sir, what would be your fastest growing segment?
I think fastest growing, if you look at e-commerce, is growing very fast. Infrastructure is growing very fast. Construction trucks are growing fast. So there are various segments which are growing fast.
Yeah.
Even there is good traction in the consumer goods, white goods. So I think the overall industry is doing well.
Are you in conversations with more players in the e-commerce space? Of course, you have the big one in Amazon, but are more conversations on? Do you expect more to add on in
No,
the coming quarters?
we are in conversation with everyone, and our trucks are very, very popular with the e-commerce segments,
Yeah.
because we deliver very good value, and we timeliness and speed and fuel efficiency, and all these things are liked by the e-commerce companies.
Mr. Aggarwal, data on March ACT Class 8 orders has declined 9%, I believe, as compared to last year. I want to understand from you, how is exports looking? For a number of your peers as well, the Middle East has become a market, small nevertheless, but thriving in that sense. And for you as well, exports have gone up, month on month. Is the contribution expected to remain strong from exports? And also, what are the blended margins for the export business?
As far as exports are concerned, exports have been under tremendous stress for last couple of years, specifically in the South Asian markets, because those markets are down by more than 80%, both Bangladesh and Nepal. Therefore, our exports to South Asian countries, the entire industry exports, have come down by 80% as compared to the earlier peak. As you rightly said, Middle East is growing, but Middle East market is very small. Total exports to Middle East of Indian trucks and buses is roughly around 10, 11,000 units a year, which was earlier in 1819, it was only around 4 or 5,000. So that has doubled. And then if you look at the Africa segment, that segment is also, territory is also down, even though not as much as South Asia. That market is also down around 25-30%. And then there is better possibilities or potential in Latin American markets and Southeast Asian markets. However, exports to these regions is still very small. Therefore, that is good potential for future. Currently, numbers are small. Overall potential for exports is good. As you can see, the growth has started happening in last 1 or 2 months. Even we have also grown as compared to last year March.
Right.
So therefore, we will see better numbers going forward.
Okay. I just want to get a sense, Mr. Aggarwal, of how you are looking at this new policy which has come in place of FAME. Does it incentivize categories of products that you produce? Does it help you in any way? And I also know that you're unveiling your electric first small commercial vehicle platform up ahead. So can you give us a sense of that trajectory as well?
I think as far as new policy is concerned, that is only, as of now, it is only interim. It looks like that it is only for next 4 months, and the amount allocated is very small, and there has been small allocation for two-wheelers and and some for buses as well. However, the numbers are small, so maybe we'll see some better allocations after the new government is formed.
What are you hoping for once you, and you're right, this is an interim policy because you have an election coming. So what are you hoping for which would really incentivize buses?
I think if you look at the current status of the electric technology, the numbers are still very small. You can take any segment. Two-wheelers also, the numbers are still 4 or 5% of the total industry. Passenger cars, it is 1 to 2%. Buses, it is still even less than 1%. It is, in fact, very, very marginal. As of now, total around 6,500 buses are there in the market, electric buses. So therefore, if you have to see good numbers in electric vehicles, the initial acquisition cost is the dampener. So therefore, incentive from government to encourage electric technology will be welcome, and it will help the industry. Therefore, I think we are expecting that these incentive schemes will continue in the short term.